You being told you're doing something just because you're trying to help the other person is not motivating enough. Your friends are not just your friends. They are your friends because there's a mutual benefit. What you give, you receive. If you give people happiness, you're going to receive happiness. If you give people hate, you receive hate.
If you have any questions, concerns, or video ideas that you'd like me to do in the future, add them in the comment section.
If people are more selfish in society, society is better on an overall basis. Let me talk about the future generation. Most people, especially men, they live a life of adventure. They explore, they expand beyond themselves so that they provide adequate resources for their children. The reason as to why they do this is because their children is their legacy. It is their memory. It is what they're going to be remembered by. Hence, healthy, strong, intelligent, and charismatic children are going to be a good representation of the father. It is a legacy. It is the history they are leaving behind. Because of that self-interest, most people are derived to provide the best for their children. You might say, yes, it is a selfless act, but in itself, it is a sort of selfish ideology that derives that. This is some research that was done. I read this in the book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It said, everybody wants to be eternal. Everybody wants to live to eternity. Hence, everything that we do is derived by this selfish desire to want to live forever. This is why you find a lot of artists leave paintings that are long remembered even after they passed away. This is their legacy. This is how they are remembered. This is the story that they leave to the world to be told about them. Hence, their selfish desire has led them towards a life of prosperity. You can see how selfishness derives even society. Most people are derived by selfish ambition. I want to come to university. If you were to ask many people why, it is by the selfish desires. You want to become successful so that you do not go back to the trenches, especially the people that come from a really bad background. So what you have to realize is most of the things that we do is derived by selfish intent. Your parents take you to a prestigious university so that you can have really good education. That means their legacy is secured.
At times, you even find parents bragging where their child is studying or how well their child is doing in school.
Them telling that makes them happy. It is an innate selfish desire that drives them to take you to all these different places. I want to get people thinking in a more selfish manner. When you think about things from that perspective, it shifts your way of thinking. Your friends are not just your friends. They are your friends because there's a mutual benefit. If your friend is not benefiting your life, you have to cut them off. If they are not benefiting your life, and if you are not benefiting their life, they should do the same as well. So if anybody by any chance decides to cut me off as a result of me not benefiting their life, it is okay. Very much understandable. Why? Because everybody is derived by their selfish desire. This is how society works. So let's say you meet this pretty girl. You go and approach her. You guys exchange numbers. You start talking. Then this is prolonged over and over and over and over and over again. Let's say 6 months, we've just been talking on the phone. The girl, on one hand, is getting what she wants, which is attention from you, being a simp, of course. And you are not getting what you want, which is a meetup, progression, something that is better than just texting, wasting your time, right? Hence, in that case, it is not a fair exchange. You're not being selfish enough to put more value on your name and your time to be like, oh no, this girl is not reciprocating what I want. I'm giving her what she wants, which is attention. Girls love attention. I'm giving her attention, but she's not reciprocating. She's not giving me what I want. Hence, you cut her off. It's that simple. The more people think in selfish terms, the better society becomes. If you are derived by selfish intent, crime reduces. Here's why. When people are thinking more about themselves, they do not just think of the short term, they think about the long term as well. If you truly love yourself to that extent, you are thinking, how does this affect my future? Yeah, I love myself. How does this affect my future? If I go ahead and steal, how does that affect my future? I get to be put in prison. I get to go through a legal system that is most likely not going to be fair to you, because most people are not above the financial status to deal with a lot of legal problems. If you go into jail, if you go into court, it is automatic for the most part. You're going to be put in jail. If you think about all those lines, you are most likely going to take a path that does not lead to jail. Hence, if you're thinking more selfishly, you get to make better decisions in life. I don't know if you're following through, but I do believe that a life where people are expected to be selfless is not really a productive life. It is not a productive society. For starters, it is not a very motivating factor. You being told you're doing something just because you're trying to help the other person is not motivating enough. I've never met a man who has gone, oh yeah, I am just motivated just because, right? It has to be touching a certain component of your life for you to be motivated enough to go ahead and achieve it, to go ahead and do it. You have to be affected personally, right? Because you are the one that is being derived into action. You are the one who's been derived into motion. It has to affect you in one way or another. You cannot just simply say, I'm just doing it for everybody else. Oh, I want to serve the world. Why do you want to serve the world? Because you are in it. If the world goes down, you go down too, right? This is the environmentalist movement. Oh yeah, we want to serve the world. Why? Because we care about others. No, you don't. You care about yourself. You want to serve your ass. And that is okay, right? Yeah, you want the world to be a better place. It's understandable. You want society to be better. Why? Because it is self-serving. If society is better, that means that your children are going to be raised up well. They are not going to die in the middle of the street because of an increase in crime. You know they're going to be safe. You are protecting yourself from the devastation that might come as a result of the world being a very bad place. A shitty world results in you being unhappy. Hence, you generally want to make people's life better. The equation is very simple from where I'm sitting. The same way they say, when you give people value, right? When you give people value, which is in itself selfless, as it is put, when you give people value, it should reciprocate, right? It is more or less like a karma effect, a boomerang. What you give, you receive. If you give people happiness, you're going to receive happiness. If you give people hate, you receive hate. So if as a logical individual, as a logical being, thinking about all these things I'm going to go, is this going to benefit me? Is me giving hate towards the world going to make me happier? No. Why would I give people hate? All that I have to give is love. That is all the only thing I want. Hence, it's the only thing that I'm giving. Me being selfish helps the other person as well. A world of selfishness. I do advocate for a world in which people are more selfish and they think about their selfish nature, their selfish intent, their selfish innate desire. I think if people did that, we would have a much more prosperous society. If people, instead of just thinking of the short term, they thought about the long term. How do I get to be happy in the long term? What is the optimal way that I can be happy as an individual? I think society would be better as a whole. So clearly, being selfish is a very important aspect of society. For starters, people would be more in love with themselves. And I'm not talking about this superficial love, because this is why some people got to think, oh no, it's talking about not just love yourself. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Truly loving yourself would mean you would invest more time in yourself. You would appreciate your body more, hence you would be more fit, hitting the gym on a regular basis, because you understand the future implications of not working out. Truly being selfish means you would give more, because you do realize that in turn, you are going to receive what you give. If you give more money, you're going to receive more money. If you give more love, you are going to receive more love. If you give hate, you're going to receive hate. It is a boomerang effect, right? So by you understanding that you want to be more selfish, more happy, more successful, you are going to give out that to the world. As a result, the world just becomes a better place. So if truly people are going with the idea of being selfish, right? Which is the most selfless thing that you can do. I know it's counterintuitive, but truly being selfish means you are going to do more for the society, and the society is going to do more in turn towards you. Hence, you're going to become more successful. I do believe if people were truly more selfish, I repeat, truly, the world will become a better place. Because if you really love your neighbor as self, you wouldn't want bad things to happen towards them. You wouldn't want to be the cause of that badness, because you want to live in a society that helps people become better, because it is beneficial for both you and the people next door. It has been CALicious over here, the delicious man, covering the intricacies of life and how you can make your life a little bit more delicious.